Okay, this is 1.1, place value and names and numbers. You have the ones column, the tens column, the hundreds column, the thousands column, the 10,000s column, the 100,000s column, the millions column. Then you would have the 10 millions, the 100 millions, the billions. The columns continue. We're going to focus on these in this chapter. We're going to give the place value of each digit in a number. So I'm going to ask you, if you had 305,964, what are each of the place values? So we'll start with the 3, and we'll work our way backwards. So the 3 is in what portion? The 3 would be in the 300,000s. So we would write 300,000s. In the next one, we have the 0. We're going to write 0, 10,000s. Next, we have the 5. We have 5, and that would be thousands. We have 9 hundreds. 6 tens. And 4 ones. You can start either on this end or on the other end. In the next example, example 2, give the place value of each number in the digit or in the number 2,378. I'm going to start with the 8. So we have 8 ones, 7 tens, 3 hundreds, and 2 thousands. The significant piece is being able to identify the value of each digit. When you get into bigger numbers, as you get into the bigger numbers, you can notice that there's a pattern. There's always going to be ones, tens, hundreds. So there's 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion, 100 billion. And this pattern continues on. I'm going to ask you not only to be able to label it, but also give the place value of each digit in the number. So I'm going to ask you to be very particular and tell me which one it is. So for example, if I wrote out the number again, 73, 890, 672, 540. I'm going to start with the 7, and I have 7 10 billion. So I might ask you, what is the 5 in this one? And you would have to tell me that the 5 is in the hundreds place. So similar to the one above, but breaking it down to each piece. Tens for the 4. This is the 1, 0 ones. So I'm going to work my way again this way. So we said 0 ones, 4 tens, 5 hundreds, 2 thousands. 7 10,000s, 6 100,000s, and then we have 0 millions, 9 10 millions, 800 millions, and then we have 3 billion. And I'm running out of space, so I'm going to rewrite this billion. And again, it's 7 10 billions. You can do it in either fashion like we did above, or we could do the same pattern for these large numbers. We have 458,992. Again, doesn't matter where you start. We have 2 ones. Sometimes it's easier to start with a smaller one. 9 tens, 9 hundreds, 8 thousands, 5 10,000s, and 4 100,000s. It is important that you know how to spell them. If you're not sure how to spell them, please practice spelling. These are all whole numbers. Eventually, we're going to start working with decimals as well and identifying and labeling them. So it's important that you have the place value for these whole numbers. Let's continue. Let's look at expanded form. Expanded form, there's standard form, and then there's expanded form. Standard form is a normal number. Expanded form is writing it out for each portion with zeros in places that for the rest of the values. So if I have 542 and I want to write it in an expanded form, I'm going to start with the 5. We know that this is in the 500 place, so 500. And we're going to add the next number, which is the 4. 4, and then the rest of these numbers become 0, so the 2 becomes a 0, so 40, because it's in the tens place, so 40, and then the 2 is in the ones place. So we have 500 plus 40 plus 2, and that is what we consider expanded form. Now let's identify again what it's asking. If it's expanded form, it's asking for you to write it in this fashion where it's expanded, it's pulled out. If it's in standard form, it is a normal number. It is just the number that's represented and how you would say it, 542. Let's look at the next one, 5,478. We have 5,000, so 5,000 plus, the next is the 4, so 4 hundreds, it's in the hundreds place. The 7 is in the tens place, so 70 plus 8, and that is our expanded form. Try 658. You should be thinking 600 plus 50 plus 8. And then finally, try 56,094 in expanded form. You have 50,000 plus 6,000 plus. You have 0 hundreds, so we're not going to write that one in, we're going to skip that. Now we have 90, remember that's 90 because it's in the tens place, plus 4. So we have 56,094. So these are all expanded forms as our solutions. Now it's going to ask you to go in the reverse. So we're going to start with the expanded form, and then I need to convert it into standard form. So we are going to actually work our way backwards. So we have 3 in the ones. Now, is there a tens value? Nope, so I'm going to put a 0 there. Now I have the 600, so I have 600. And then what comes after hundreds? Thousands. We don't have 1,000, we have 10,000. So we're going to have a 0 for the 1,000. For 70, we're going to put in that 7. And then we have no 100,000s, so we're going to skip it because this is in the million section, which would be 5. And that's our answer. So again, sometimes it helps to write it out. This is ones, this is hundreds, this would be 10,000, and then we have million. Any place you skip, you need to put in zeros. Try the next one on your own. You have 20,000 plus 7,000 plus 30 plus 5. Again, I'm going to start with my ones. You should have 5 ones. We have tens. We have 30 tens. We don't have hundreds, so we write a 0. We have 7,000. And we have 10,000 places 2, so 20,000, and we're done. 27,035 is our answer. Writing numbers in words. Notice that the 2-digit numbers that are larger than 20 do not end in a 0, have 2 parts. So, for example, we have 25 is the number, 20-5 is how we write it. 30 is just going to be 30, but 62, we have a dash between it. Numbers that are less than 20 do not have dashes, so like 18 would not be a number. But if we start with, we're going to start with 400. We're going to write the number 452. 52 gets a dash between it. We sometimes say in the American language 452. It's not how you're supposed to say it. An and represents a decimal, so we're not going to say the word and when writing whole numbers. 452 is your final answer. Let's practice a couple more. We have 3,561. So we're going to start with 3,000. 3,000. 500. We put the comma in there. 500. And then finally, the 61. 60-1. And that is our answer. We have 507,034,005. This number is a little bit different because it gives us an option to do that 34 in the middle of our statement. So we start with the 5. So we have 500. And then we'll put the 7 million, comma. Now we're going to talk about the middle, and that's 34. So 30-4. Thousand. And then the last number is 5. So we're just going to write 5. So again, we're focusing on that 507, and it's 507, it's in the millions portion, so million, 34,000, and then the 1 5. Now when we're doing this, we were writing all of our numbers and we were putting them from our digit to written form. I'm going to also ask you to take from written form and put it into digit form. So we have 5,000, notice the comma, 5,642, so 642. The 1,000 tells me that that's done and it has a comma in there to share with me that I'm finished. In the next one we have 3 million, comma, 51,000, so we're going to have a 0 for the hundreds, 51,000, comma, 700, so 700, and this is our digit form. sets and the number line. Counting numbers are the numbers that we use to identify as natural numbers. Examples include, but are not limited to, your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the stuff that you counted with when you were a child. So when you started counting as a kid, you started with your fingers, right? When your mom held it up and said, well, how many is that? 1. That's counting numbers. Whole numbers are the numbers of all counting numbers and 0. That's really important. 0 is included as a whole number. So this one starts at the value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes on and on and on. You can remember these numbers just exactly how I said. Kindergarten, or how your mama taught you. Or your dad. Because it was my dad that taught me. Taught you how to count. Those are going to be how you count. Counting is your normal, those are natural numbers. And that's important for later on in higher math. Counting is your natural numbers. And then if you are looking for your whole numbers, you need to visualize. Think of a number line. And I would just say visualize a number line. You would visualize a number line. So when you're looking at a number line and you were thinking about a number line, you would start with 0, 1, and 2, and 3, and you start at 0, and you go to the next number, and then you go to the next number. And this is where your whole numbers start. It's important that you understand this piece because eventually in the higher math, you're going to have to look at a rational number list, and this isn't as important right now, but within the rational number realm, we start with our counting, and then we talk about whole numbers, and then we talk about integers, and then we talk about rational numbers. So these two parts are really important to remember. Counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then knowing that whole numbers include 0. And that is 1.1, place value and names and numbers.